Bosties. If you're trying to figure out how to start a business while working your 9 to 5, this episode is for you.
If you're reading this, you're a new entrepreneur. Welcome, Bosties, let's grow more and more.
Hey everybody, it's Atlanta's favorite podcaster, Elia here, and we are back with another episode of Entrepreneurship. We are here with Natasha.
Hi guys.
Yes, she's a CFO, a financial guru. What else did you call yourself? I forgot all the names.
A financial wizard.
Wizard.
Financial wizard.
Wizard.
Yes.
I love that. And we are going to talk finances today. We are here at Live Hip Hop Daily, like always, with Creative Visions, the production crew. Thank you so much. And we have a very special episode because it's almost bossy time, guys. Like, that's what y'all need to know. It's almost bossy time. So, next weekend. Hey Bosties, this is a throwback episode, so here is the information about my latest co-working event that is happening on Juneteenth in Atlanta. Check it out, join Bosties to get the invite. And I want you guys to come together and meet your boss bestie. I think this is something that changed my life. Having these guys and having just so many people in my life that are also entrepreneurs has really changed my trajectory, because I have so many stories, but everybody used to just tell me to go get a job, and that's not what you want to hear when you're really trying to live your dreams. So I finally found people that would tell me, hey, did you try this marketing plan? Did you go here? Did you go to this networking event? I'm going to this thing, come with me. So it kind of really changed my life. So what I want to do is to have something that's networking, but it's not networking. We're gonna have fun, guys. We're here to have fun. We're here to have a day in the sun. We're not here to handshake and give out business cards. That is for later. I want you guys to hang out. I think that is the one thing that is the difference between a regular networking event and a Bossy event, is that we hang out. Because you're going to talk about your business. It's your passion. Mm-hmm. But it makes it a lot less like, hi, my name is, here's my business card. So, yes, so that is the Bossy event. This is August 19th, and it starts at 3 p.m. If you guys want to know anything else more about that, go to entrepreneur.ish.podcast on Instagram and hit the link in the bio. Yes, so, okay, we are going to talk about you now.
Okay.
So I want to ask you first introduce yourself. Before we get into this, I want everybody to know your introduction.
Okay. Hi guys, I'm Natasha, CFO and financial wizard. I help my clients create one clear path to the thriving, more profitable business that they deserve. So what you deserve and what you deserve may look differently, but I help my clients do that. I'm a business owner just like you, but I've mastered the basics. I have over 15 years of progressive financial and accounting experience, and unlike other coaches who try their best, I help my clients reach their goals in under 5 years. So you can work with me, and in 3 to 6 months, you can see your goals, hitting your targets, but other coaches who are not privy to how finances work may put you on a 5-year plan. So that is who I am and what I do.
I love that. Okay, so what's your Instagram so they can start following you now?
Follow me now at theprofitstrategist.co.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so thank you for bringing this up. We talk about this all the time on this show, is that, first of all, not all coaches are real. And I really want to talk about this, especially when it comes to finances, because our skin folk are just getting into this business world, right? Like really diving into it head first. We're taking our Virgin credit to go get business loans. We are taking all types of Instagram advice and YouTube advice, right? She said, bless our hearts, right?
It breaks my heart, but you're right.
But my first question is, how can we tell the difference between who to work with? Because this is always the question. People can seem so wonderful, and then once you actually spend your $1,000 and you get nothing from it, that's when people start to get upset. They start to be like, I don't like coaches. I don't want to have a CFO. Everybody's stealing my money and this type of thing. So how can you tell real from the fake?
How can you tell the real from the fake? I know this is unpopular, but I would kind of shy away from social proof. Because when you think about finances, right? Steve Harvey, Tony Braxton, Mary J. Blige, they all had accountants and CFOs, but they led them astray. They never shared who their accountant was. And so if you have, and I think it's important to go on Instagram and talk about what I can do, but if you listen long enough, and I have young kids and I watched a show with them, and the guy said, if you listen long enough, the answer is in the question. So if you're coming to me and you want to potentially hire a fractional CFO, if we talk long enough, you'll know that I know my stuff.
Okay.
Like I see the end, and so when you ask me about the business opportunity in the Birmingham event, it's just financially, I'm thinking life jacket, save a life. Like, it came to me instantly, and I'm not, oh, well, if you go to such and such page, he said. Be wary of people who's always pivoting to someone else. And so a lot of times people have social proof, but you will see they're only quoting what they've heard. I have years of experience, progressive experience, and so that's what you want to look for.
Okay, that's awesome. Thank you for that.
You're
So
welcome.
let's talk about this experience that you have. So where did you start and how did you get to where you are now? And I know it's a long story.
It's a long
but
story.
I'm here for it.
Okay, so where did I start? Okay, I initially started, and not even knowing, okay, growing up, my mom would always tell me, people don't think like you. Because I would always say, but why? But why? I would 7 whys deep my mom, and she would just say, rabbit, just no.
I love that.
So I would go back to the drawing board because I wanted to understand if the end goal is to do X, why are we starting here? So fast forward, my aunt worked for SunTrust Bank. Back then it was, trust company.
Yep.
And she worked on the stock exchange floor. So I would go to work with her, and they're trading millions and billions of dollars in different currencies. And I'm watching, and I love 2 things. I love the rubber thumb that I got to play with.
Okay.
And I love the fact that you had these boss people all in one suite, and they had a bar. They had a bar, and a lot of it was like bourbon because it was brown. So I'm like, I want a job at a bank, so if I get stressed, I can. This weird.
So that you can go to the bar and be fancy like that.
And be
No, I
fancy like
understand.
that.
We all have our version of adult. So I understand,
Yeah. So then fast forward, as I went through school, I would start with the end in mind, not knowing that that gift was in me for birth. So when you see something in your child or a niece or nephew, don't say, oh, you're thinking too much. Like, see how that could translate into a profession. So I would go into the classroom, I would open up the syllabus, and I would look at the scoring card. And I would say, if this, then that. So if I knew I wanted an A, I would have to score really high on the test so that at the end of the semester, I could kind of slack off and I would still get my A. So what do I need to do today in order to get the A?
Because friends like you.
That's me. And so just fast forward to college, I was kind of like a lot of people, just undecided in the beginning. I thought I wanted to do medicine because I really do love people. I started off, I was working at a doctor's office, and I had my first patient die of cancer, and it was too much for me.
Ooh.
So I realized I can help people through finances, and it's just as impactful as a doctor. Because either way it go, we're both reading numbers.
Healing.
We're healing, and we're reading numbers.
You are completely right.
And then it brought me back to like the calculation, and my nickname is Rabbit, so I ran everywhere I went. I knew that success really does love speed, and it just all ran into place. So I got a degree in accounting and sought out to have a progressive career. So I started off as a tax preparer while I was in school. I answered an ad in the school paper, and I was the only person who was pursuing a degree. The only person who looked like me as well.
Wow.
And then once I graduated, I was the only degree person there. People who would walk in that didn't look like me, they're like, oh, you're too young, and whatever, I don't want you to do my taxes. And I would say, I understand why you feel that way. I'm not honoring, I'm not agreeing, but if you feel that I'm too so just to let you know that I'm the only one with a degree, but I can put you in queue for someone else. I'm not going to fight with you. Like, people who want to do business with me then and now will choose me. I don't
see.
So again, just moved up the ranks. My love for, we mentioned like why. My love for just helping people is what made me better at it. So during college, and we'll probably talk about it. Like, my goal in life is to just go outside and play, whatever that looks like.
I love that.
Sleep in.
I love that.
Sit in traffic, play in makeup. I just want to play. And so I also know that I have to find people to play with. And so in college, I had this one girl, her name starts with a T. So T was struggling. And I knew that I wanted to play, so I needed to get her grades up because she wouldn't be there.
Got you.
So I would teach her like accounting 101, then 102, whatever. And then the more I taught her, the better I got. And I was like, oh wow. And so
I actually know my stuff.
Yeah. And then I went into corporate America. I would go through training, and I'm like, I know a better way to do this, and it's faster and it works. And so just 15 plus years of doing that, and that's how I got to this point.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah. I definitely have friends like you. I was so jealous because here I am trying to follow all the rules, and y'all are like, look, I'm going to get an A on 3 tests and do nothing else and pass. And I would be like, I'm over here trying to get an A on everything, and I didn't even need to do that. So I loved friends like you because y'all would help me like realize that yes, follow the rules, but there are ways to, like you said, play within the rules. There are ways to have what you want and not have to do everything exactly like the book says.
Yes.
And so I appreciate y'all, especially now in my life. I'm like, give me the hacks, please. Please give me the hacks. I am not trying to run through this entire
Not forever.
So, okay, so I mean, honestly, even though you did play and work at the same time, it does sound like you really, really wanted to know what you were talking about. When would you say, like, after those people doubted you, when did you start being like, no, this is my thing. You can doubt me all you want to. I'm here. This is what I do.
I knew I was here because I showed up, right? Like my parents taught me, like, and my mom, I love her so much. I love you, Mom, if you're watching. But she said a lot of cliches growing up.
Okay.
And I couldn't understand, like, what does she mean? What does she mean? And so I know, just like me as a financial expert, social media cannot give me the proof that I need. You have to get it through experience. My mom giving me the cliches was like breadcrumbs, but I needed the experience to make it make sense. And one thing she told me growing up is, what people eat doesn't make you go to the bathroom.
Oh.
So what they say about you does nothing. No. So when she said that, I was like, okay, win some, lose. Either way I go, I'm going to get off and I'm going to play, whatever that looks like. That was all I cared about. So I didn't need all of the clients. I just needed the clients that wanted to work with me, and then I was fine. So, yeah.
I like that. I was just saying that the other day. Another thing I say all the time is that, first of all, the best people are not on Instagram. I tell people that all the time.
Right.
Go outside. Go shake a hand.
Yes.
Go ask somebody, what do you do? Go smile. Like, literally go outside, because the best people are not on Instagram. That's one. 2, I do like what you said. Like, whatever they say about you doesn't have anything to do with yourself. I think sometimes that takes a lot of confidence. So I want to talk about how confidence works in your line of business, because I hear all the time, money manifestation is something that I hear a lot of things about, and I feel like it's directly correlated with confidence. Do you believe in money manifestation? Let's start there, and then let's talk about the confidence.
I do believe in money manifestation.
Okay.
Yes. If you would have asked me that a couple months ago, I would have said, But
what changed your mind?
What changed my mind is just stopping, right? Like, when you stop and listen to the breadcrumbs that have been dropped, the Bible says it, so as a man thinketh, and I'm not going super religious, but it says, so as a man thinketh, the rich that think, what is the book? Think and grow rich. It did not say do and go rich. So when you pause and think, thinking, manifesting, you can manifest money. So
I love that. Okay.
I believe that.
So does it take confidence to manifest money? Because I think sometimes when you don't have a lot of money, it can be hard for you to imagine having it. So I think that is that was a blocker of mine, because I would sit there and I would see in reality what I had, and it was very hard for me to think outside of what was actually in my bank account. So I want to, help out the other people who were who are sitting in that moment?
So confidence plays a role. So we've all let ourselves down before, right? And that's a given, right?
Yeah.
We've all been told no. We've all had a client that walk away from us. I think the sooner you fall, the better.
Okay.
Because it builds confidence. Like, I want my boys to get their heart broken by their first girlfriend so they can know how to deal with that.
Gotcha.
Because if you are successful for the first 15 years and you fail, you never get back up. And so I think confidence plays a role in it, but you build confidence because you have the skill set.
Okay.
So you're confident because you know. Now, there's another part to that where you have imposter syndrome. Like, you're so good, you're like, well, why would people hire me?
Yeah.
So there's that. But I do believe confidence plays a role. And so I think it's important for, like, my clients and people who are watching, your followers, is to know how you started is not how you're going to end.
Okay.
You get the chance to write a new chapter each and every time you damn well feel like it, right?
Yes.
And so if you made, $20 an hour now, but your goal is to make $100 an hour, make that $20. When you get that promotion to $30, celebrate, play, whatever that looks like to you, and then grind back out. I think sometimes with people who have never experienced, financial success or an abundance of cash flow, consistent cash flow month after month, they think it's not for them. And so when it happens, they keep all they can because they never know when it's going to happen again.
Yes.
But you have to trust you that if it happened once, you're going to show up just like you showed up that first time to get it done again. My husband read a book, and it was talking about, like, the zone of excellence and the zone of genius. So we operate oftentimes in our zone of excellence. So if you're used to having $5,000 in your checking account, and that's your point, the minute you get $15,000, you know what you're going to do with the 10? You're going to blow it because your 5,000 is your comfort zone. So you have to have confidence to say, I've set a target. I've had a $15,000 month. That is my new target. I'm going to spend maybe 10% on some shoes or party or beach outfit for the beach party.
For the beach party, yes, get dressed up, y'all.
But then you're going to put your head back down, and now your zone of excellence is the 15K. So
Gotcha.
you never want to drop. So that's why I tell my clients to set targets and not goals. Because whenever you hear someone talk about targets, they call it a moving target. Goals is like, oh, your goal is to be fine for the beach party. You lose your weight, you do your 3 or 4 day fast, you've hit that goal, and you stop. When you have moving targets in your business or in your life, in your confidence, in your money manifestation, you can say, this is my target. I want to wake up knowing that money looks for me every day. It seeks me. It actually wakes up before I wake up just so it can catch me when my eyes open. And then you start saying that, and it's like, oh, that feels good. You're right. And then you just continue to do it and do it and do it. So, yeah.
Okay, I like that. I'm loving this. I'm really loving this. Okay, so... money wakes up before I do. Here's what can catch me. That stuck with me. I like that one. Okay, so for us to be prepared for this money following us section, is there something that we could do today? Say we do have that $20 an hour job, and we're looking to have a moving target. What is something that we can do practically right now to start having something like that?
And I know I've already said it again, and don't beat me, but you have to start with the end in mind. Like, the end goal for me is there's a street in my city that I want to live on.
Okay.
I've already looked at the house.
Okay.
I already know how much it costs. I've already done the numbers. I'm not ready to buy it now, but I know the utilities average, the property taxes. So you have to know where you're going. You have to know the end goal so you can think and grow rich.
Gotcha.
You have to set your targets. So people do vision board parties all the time, but they're not setting a target. Like, I want to do this because of what? And so what do I need to do today in order to get that? So if my goal is to have that house on Academy Street by the end of next year, what do I need to do? I need to, like you said, get out there, shake hands, let people know me. Like, the more I do interviews like this or do webinars, people get to know, like, she's genuine and she's not just a boring ass accountant with glasses and flats. No, I'm going to show a little skin and my heels.
A pop of color.
So I think for that $20 an hour or even $10 an hour person, like, your heart's desire, you are worthy of that. And it's in your heart because it belongs to you. You just have to go get it.
Oh love that.
I just have to go get it.
Okay, so for you, you sound like a planner. Do you have a planner, a journal? Is that something you do, or is this all off the dome? This is off the dome. I'm like freaking out.
No, I don't. It's funny. I keep a lot in my head, and my coach was like, "You need to write things down." My thing is, I write it down. Now I have to keep up with it. So I am getting better at writing some things down. I do find value in that. But then I have paper everywhere, and I don't like clutter, so I will throw everything away. If you have some tips on how to organize all of these notes, I would.
I'm a planner freak. I put everything. I have just one planner. I don't just one because I do feel you when it's like, okay, I got a freaking book bag of stuff. Right? No, we're not doing that. Okay. But I do have one planner. And this planner is, I will put a link for you guys, and I will give it to you.
Oh, thank you.
And, but basically it does affirmations, and it allows you to plan your day. So it asks you, what do you want out of today? It gives you 10 goals. Then it asks you, what can you practically do? And then it asks you to pick 3 things that you could practically do. Then it tells you, out of those 10 things, pick 2 things that you can delegate, and then 2 things for tomorrow. Okay. So that is really how I've been able to kind of keep up, but it only works when you do it. So here's the thing about a planner: you can have one and never use it. You can literally have this thing that will get your life together and literally never use it. So it's one of those things where you have to tell yourself, I'm intentionally going to plan my day.
Absolutely.
I'm going to make sure I'm on top of things. That's something I have not been doing lately. So
we can hold each other accountable.
Yes, let's start doing that, Natasha. You will be my accountability person on this, because when you get a busy schedule, something that I've been receiving from God lately was that I'm giving you a lot. I need you to take care of it. And so with that, each new step that you take, each new thing that you pray for, you have to be ready for the responsibilities that come with that new thing. You have to be ready to be a little bit more on your P's and Q's than you were last week, because you have 2 more clients. You can't, the sleep time isn't there anymore. The slack isn't allowed anymore. So I have realized that I have things that keep me in check. I like to do things when I think about it, not when I feel like doing it. So if I'm like, I need to email you, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to email you now. I don't care if it's on camera. I don't care if it's inconvenient. I don't care if it looks weird. I don't care if I'm in the middle of brushing my teeth. I don't care what it is I'm doing. I'm going to send this email because it's going to save me, because like you said, 2 seconds later, I'm on to the next thing.
Oh, yeah.
So if I didn't send that email, then 2 weeks later, when I'm thinking I have a guest, because I thought I emailed them, but I didn't take that time, now I'm off. Now I have to be like, oh, I'm sorry. Are you available?
Yeah.
I got to catch up. Now I'm nervous. Now I got all
the
these
things.
issues. Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So for that is my thing I plan. So do you have an app or something that you use that is your thing that holds you accountable, that keeps you together?
Yes, so I do have an app, and it's just, I use the calendar app on my phone.
Okay, yes, people.
Because
oh my gosh.
It's color, you can color code it. So I have a couple things going on. I'm married. I do plan it, just not write it down.
Okay, I got you. So you are a planner, okay.
And then I have my notes. And so if there's a note that I need to share with my husband about the boys, or we also own a restaurant, so if something's going on with the restaurant, I have a note for there. So we have various shared files. There's a calendar for all of our things.
Okay.
Home, boys, us personal, and the business. So, yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah. You own a restaurant. You just
Yes.
drop that on us. Okay, let's talk about it.
I know. So,
Sean, right?
I know.
I have a restaurant.
I know. So that's one of the things. So I'll talk about the restaurant. So a lot of times, a lot of these internet CPAs and accountants are telling you to do what? Go buy a G-Wagon. A G-Wagon is a depreciable asset. It's actually a liability. Well, it's a depreciable asset, right? But it's a liability.
But they tell you because you can write it off.
You can write it off.
It's on your taxes, that type of thing.
So when you think about write off, that means you're writing off income. If you write off your income, you have no income left. And so, no, you don't pay taxes, but you also don't have income. What they should be telling you, because they have a heart for their clients, because they have a heart for people, when you start making money in your business, and a lot of these people aren't even making money. They're just like, oh, go buy a car that's over $6,000 and you can write it off. They never said, can you afford a G-Wagon payment? Like, that payment is pretty gangster. And so I listen to those people, and the minute they say that, I'm like, turn it off the live. Don't listen to them. Run. So when you have a business, or you're a W-2 employee, or you own your business, you want to look at ways to spend your money so it can make money. I don't believe in saving everything.
Okay.
I don't.
I
believe that you have to give yourself, you have to celebrate your wins.
You're like, if you're gonna ball out on something that's gonna keep you balling.
Balling out, yeah. Like,
you.
I want to ball out forever.
Right. Like, I'm not trying to ball out in May. I'm trying to May, June, July, August, like all of them.
All of them.
them.
And so my husband and I have been in corporate. We have, he has over 20 years of IT experience. I've been in accounting for over 15 years. So we have very high paying W-2 jobs. And so we also wanted to use that money to invest in getting our time back.
Okay.
We could have very well bought a G-Wagon,
Yeah,
but we wanted to buy a business. So we purchased a Kale Me Crazy in
What?
Virginia Highlands. Yes. And it's just the thing, and so that's what I would advise my clients. I will read your numbers, and I would tell you, okay, you like to go on beach parties and you want to own a yacht. This is what you need to be able to do to reach that goal in 5 months versus 5 years.
Gotcha.
You just need to retrain what you think. And just because someone looks like you doesn't mean you take their word as Bible, right? So a lot of Instagram people, again, are saying buy the G-Wagon. I say buy a property or a business. So we bought the Kale Me Crazy, and my husband teaches on this, so I won't go too deep in it.
Okay.
He talks about how to go from 9 to 5 to franchise, right?
Okay.
And so you use your 9 to 5 as income, because your employer, that's your biggest client.
Yeah.
You're still working for yourself, because
Yeah.
your ultimate goal is to have autonomy over your time. So use your 9 to 5, because banks love W-2s.
Yeah.
They love to think that someone else have you by the balls, right?
Yeah.
And they'll freely give you money if you have a W-2 before you are 1099.
Oh yeah, people say all the time,
Yeah.
hire yourself. If you are self-employed,
Yes.
don't ever put that, so that you are employed by your company.
Absolutely. So we purchased the Kale Me Crazy because, one, it's a part of a franchise. So franchises have a 95% success rate,
Okay.
whereas businesses have a 95% failure rate.
Oh wow.
Because you're buying a business in the box. Someone has already tested this out. They've figured everything out. You buy into a support system. So we wanted to do that because we know that we want to do something else. Remember Academy Street by the end of next year.
Right.
So I need to get my time back. So the business is running. They just sent a text because I have to order juices tonight. But I'm here, and that's making money.
I love that.
And, with that, we get deposits every day. So when you're thinking about buying a business or growing your business, think about cash flow. They're telling you to get the credit, buy the cars, but what about your cash flow? 100% of businesses that go under all had revenue. They did not all have cash flow.
Ooh.
And that's a big, misconception that people aren't taking the time to pause and
So
think about.
Let's dissect that,
Okay.
because that is something I have not heard on the show yet.
Okay.
And I've had financial people, several people come in, and so we've never dissected the difference between cash flow and revenue. It just hasn't come up. So let's talk about that.
Okay, let's talk about it, and I love it. So when you're talking to an expert, if they don't smile when they think about Excel worksheets and numbers, like run. Like, I'm like, oh, let me kick my shoes off because this is my topic. Okay, so revenue. I own a business that sells life jackets. I partnered with a guy that was swimming in Birmingham. We started this business and we sell life jackets. Our life jackets blow up. They blow up. They're black. They're beautiful. They're $75 each. You have an order for a $7,500 order. I would say $10,000 for rounding purposes.
Okay.
We're on Stripe. We have a $10,000 order. We did not make $10,000. $10,000 will never touch our bank from that order. So
Because
you have
Stripe
to,
takes some of it.
because Stripe takes some of it, and then they have a holding period. So holding periods also tie up your cash flow. So you have the Stripe fee. You have your supplier.
Yep.
You have your
Forgot
supplier.
about that.
You have your inventory.
Don't just
Yeah. So it's not says revenue equals money in the bank. So a lot of people are like, I have sales, I'm making money, but where's it all going? It's your cash flow. So you have your revenue, that's the $10,000 invoice we have for our life jackets, and then you have your expenses. But right before that, you have your cost of goods sold. So if we hired a marketing person to sell those life vests, or if we had to get like a light to go on it, all of those will eat at or reduce your revenue.
Gotcha.
So you had a $10,000 sale, but it shakes out to be $7,000. And then you have your expenses, your overhead, whether you have a business or a virtual office, payroll, utilities, etc.
Gotcha.
And after that, that's your profits, or that's your profit. But then cash flow is kind of one of those, like a hidden gem, right? So a lot of people talk about, oh, your income statement or your profit and loss. You will not always be able to determine if you have a positive cash flow just by looking at your P&L.
Wow.
Because there are some hidden numbers in your financials that if you don't know where to look, you don't know where to find them. So you get your P&L, you see, okay, $10,000, now I'm at $7,500 after my expenses, it's $5,000. I can go on this trip to Greece for $6,000 because I'll take $5,000 from the business, $1,000 personal. Not too fast, because there's more.
Yeah, I was about to say, wait a minute.
You know,
It sounds too good to be true.
It sounds too good to be true. So you have to look at all the things. And I actually teach entrepreneurs how to understand the basics.
Okay.
It wasn't until one day I was at the karate with my kids. They play karate. They participate in do karate. And play karate. And the instructor was giving a speech, and he says, discipline will take you places, motivation will not. And I'm in there like, oh, this is good. And he's like, I'm teaching this class, but the only difference between you and I is that I've mastered the basics. When you start karate, you start off with a white belt. The goal is to get a black belt. Do you know what years of leading a dojo does to your black belt? It turns it white.
Wow.
So when you have these financial gurus that don't have a whitish black belt, they may not know what they're talking about because they haven't mastered the basics so much so that they've talked over and over again. So I have a tag that I am your black belt financial guide.
Yeah, I love that.
Because I mastered the basics and I can teach you how to do that. So I help business owners just understand the basics. If you can't afford me, I will not reduce my rate. No, ma'am, I will not. I can't do that. But what I can do for you, Buttercup, is I can teach you the basics.
I love it.
I can teach you the basics so that you can know your sales does not mean income. It does not mean profit. It does not equate to cash flow.
I love that.
And so I think because I really have a heart for people, and I told you in the beginning I want it to be a medicine, but I can also have a heart for the people to just not be fooled by what people are telling you. Like, at least know the basics.
So that you know,
so that you can
when
know.
Somebody says G-Wagon, you need to be like, I need to go this way.
No. I had a client that I onboarded last week, and he owns a business, and I was setting his information up so that he can pay his quarterly taxes. I will do it for him, but I said, here's your login, here's your password, here's how you can check that on the 16th of every month, this was already paid. You had Steve Harvey, had that person paying his taxes for years. She never actually paid. She also didn't show him how to check her work. Like, I have nothing, I'll tell you everything I know. Will you do it? Probably not, because you're not passionate about it. You're passionate about helping people, giving us a platform. That's your space.
Yes.
And this is my space. And if I say I'll show you, and you're like, oh shit, she knows what she's talking about.
Right,
Yeah.
because actually the fact that you are asking people to check your work, oh my God.
Yeah.
A lot of people will never give you a dashboard picture, let alone look at the dashboard. Like, a lot of people will not give you access. The fact that you're like, look, I'm going to even show you how I do what I do. Amazing.
And he's like, no, I don't need that. I'm like, okay, just know I already have you a folder with everything you need to know, the dates, and just go from there.
I like that.
Yeah.
So, recently, and I mean, this happens a lot. A lot of people, like you were saying, do take money from people. They show up as a very friendly face and end up not being friendly. They end up being actually kind of devilish and end up being the opposite of that. So what would you say to somebody who has had a negative experience with somebody who said they did what you do, but actually didn't?
What I would say to them is, you know, it's unfortunate that happened. But as I said earlier, better late than never. You're making $1,000 a month. It didn't happen when you were making $100,000 a month. It was unfortunate. My heart goes out to you. Tell me more about what happened, and I'm going to tell you how you could have spot that. So again, I tell you, I spot opportunities for growth in financial statements and red flags before they happen.
Okay.
Success leaves clues, and so does manipulation, failure, when you're being contrived, like all of those things leave clues. So I'm sure you could say, oh, I should have known something was off when my payroll didn't go through and she said she'll fix it. So sometimes you have to stop. I think life and numbers are based on a couple things: facts, feelings, and it depends.
Okay.
So when things happen to you from a financial standpoint, or if you had a professional who just wasn't honest, like, look at the facts, look at the feelings, and then check out the it depends. You're like, oh, she was nice and she was so bubbly and she always wore red, and I just thought, okay. But the truth of the matter is what?
But what were the facts that got you?
You know, yeah, like your payroll was bouncing, or you received a letter from the IRS saying your taxes weren't filed, and she said it was an oversight. Like, listen to people, listen to the clues. Yeah, so that's what I would tell them.
Payroll is not an oversight.
No, it's not an oversight.
Essential.
It's essential. So I would say, you know, and even if the person looked like me, I wouldn't say, oh, don't do business with a black woman because that happened to you before. People are their individual selves.
Yeah.
Like, that was one thing, and don't make it all the things. And so I can tell you how you could have spotted that, and I can assure you that I'll show you how to check behind me in the event that happens.
Sometimes we get so blinded by the bags, by the shoes, the watches, the things that we aspire to have, the cars, whatever it is that draws you in, that you just feel like that person has success because they have those things. I was reading this book called The Psychology of Money, and it said rich is income spent, wealth is income not spent. And there was like, that's the difference. So you can be rich and spend your $1 million, but that does not mean that you have $1 million because you spent it. Like, so I think that is really what we need to look at, is more so what is somebody holding, like you said, what is their cash flow versus what their revenue is. 'Cause those are two different things.
And there are two different things. And also, like I say, I help my clients have the successful business that they deserve.
I like that.
So what I want and what I deem as successful may be something totally different from you, for you. Like, I love being able to wake up in the morning without an alarm clock. That is successful AF for me. Like, I like nice things, but tell me that I can just wake up, and sometimes it's 6 o'clock. It's still without an alarm. I didn't say I want to wake up at 2.
Yeah.
That never happens. I never sleep to 2 o'clock. I have a
got
9-year-old and a
boys and
7-year-old.
You got boys and a husband? No
I
way.
wake up. But just that, to me, is luxury. Like, I believe that we should have a luxurious lifestyle as business owners, as women. And so let's see what that looks like to you. If it's all the Chanel bags, okay, that's fine. But if it's something else, that to you is successful and luxury. And don't be blindsided, like you said, about the people that show up to you, you know, in cheap clothing. It's just not the same. Like, I can't make you want a G-Wagon. Why would I tell you to buy a G-Wagon? You never said that.
Right.
But I'm like, who said that? Like, I want a Tesla. Why can't I go buy a Model X? Like, you never make this about me.
Gotcha.
I used to work nonprofit, and the executive over the Boys and Girls Club in Detroit came, and he said, "Don't make a decision about me without me." So him, as a Boys and Girls leader, he included the kids. Because there are kids now, but I can't decide for you without you. I can't say, yay, we're having pizza this Friday, and you're allergic to dairy. Like, who's that for? So just, those are little things, whether you're looking for a makeup artist or you're looking for, you know, a financial coach or someone, like, see if they're listening to you, if they're making your plans about you. Yeah.
Okay.
Like, do they know the desires of your heart, not theirs? So, yeah.
I like that because, like you said, success is different for every single
Everyone.
person. Like, I want to own a horse, and I know it's not everybody's, like, dream, but that's rich for me. Exactly. Yes. I feel like
That is
rich for
rich.
me is a horse. Horses houses cost lots
yes.
of money.
Yes.
You need lots of lands. Like, you need lots of people to go shovel that poo, because I'm not doing it, okay?
Brushing that mane. And...
Right. No, I'll go do that. Like, I'll go do that. I'll hose it down, but I will not be out there shoveling. So I think that is something that we all need to really, really, I like what you said. We need to think on what is our version of success, stick with that, and then find somebody to help us do that. And not somebody that tells us, well, rich is Chanel bag, rich is G-Wagon, which is whatever, their version
right.
of rich. I like that. Okay, so we're going to take a second, and we're going to shout out Laurencia. Hi, girl. Art is more than enough. It's who you need to start following, and you guys need to follow at entrepreneur.ish.podcast so that you can enter this giveaway. Last week we had Laurencia on the show, and she gifted us a affirmation coloring book, and I want to show you guys. It says, I am loved, with this girl with her big old afro and a ponytail, and it's so cute. Like it is. It's so cute. And this is like the most wonderful gift that you can give your kids. This is something you're giving them, the gift of themselves. And like we just said, don't make a decision without me. This is telling them that they're loved. They know that they're loved without you having to tell them. They get to color it. They get to see themselves. She has all of her designs on the back. She has some for teenagers. She has a version for entrepreneurs. She's amazing. So she is our Bossy of the Month, and this is why we are showing this off. So I need you guys to go watch last week's episode with Laurencia and let us know what her biggest regret was. And if you guys can write that in the comments, the right answer, you can win this book. For your niece, nephew, whoever. Your children. I don't have kids, so that's why I always say niece or nephew. Somebody else's kids. I need to give them back.
I understand why you feel that way. I truly do. I love my kids, but I understand why you love
I'm just not there. Yeah. I'm just not there yet. That I think, again, like something that's success is, for me, kids is success. But I feel like I'm just not at that point yet. When I get there, y'all will know. I will shout it from all the babies. I promise. I promise y'all. I promise y'all. I will definitely be like, yo, so the show's in my house now because we got to deal with the kids, all right? So I'm going to ask you, right at the end, we're going to play a game real quick, and I'm going to ask you, which would you rather? Okay. So this is going to be like a fun little thing that we're to do. So, would you rather because I know you're already married, would you rather your potential spouse ask you on the first date about your credit score or your past romances?
Ooh. It's
hard because I feel like to a financial person, that one would be a very good question.
Again, I say facts, feelings, and it depends. It depends because potential, credit score, past romances, all of those are about historical things, right? And that is not really telling you about who I am now. So if I have to pick one, I would say credit score.
Okay.
But I would want him to ask me more of an empowering question.
Okay, like what?
Like,
give him some. Give him tea.
Okay.
Give him some to ask.
I would say, what is the biggest thing you had to overcome in your past relationships in order for your future relationships to be successful? So you're learning about the last, but it's not
just staying there.
Tell me, like, what do you want me to tell you about my ex?
Right. Yeah. I always hate that question because I'm like, do you really, are we having a comparison contest right now? Like, I'm here. I'm at this date. I'm not with him. So what are we talking about?
And then in terms of credit score, I would say something more of the line along the lines of, if you had to change one behavior over the next 3 months or 6 months in order to have the credit score that you deserve, what would it be?
I like that.
Yeah.
So you're like,
I tell you my credit score is 799, and then what? You make decisions about me. You never asked me how I got that. Like, did my mom make me an authorized user when I was 12, and that's why my credit score is that? Like, did I just come out of bankruptcy 2 years ago and I paid it off? Like, it's not telling you about my behaviors. I think financial statements and questions, they tell about behaviors. I can look at your financial statement and know when you were happy, what month you were happy, and what month you did not want to get out of bed because your numbers took a dip. It's just like medicine, right? So I switched from medicine to financials because it's the reading of the numbers. If I tell you my sister weighs 145 pounds, what would you say?
I don't know anything else.
Right. So exactly. That's perfect. So without all the numbers, you can't make an assessment. You can't say, oh, she's in good shape. But what if I tell you she's 2?
Yeah. Like my goodness.
So you can't just ask me about my credit score. You may want to ask me what you really want to know.
Got you.
Yep. So that's what I would say.
Got you. Okay. And then, yes. Okay. I got you. Okay. Would you do a prenup or no prenup?
No prenup.
No prenup? Okay. That's different. Okay. Why? Is it the trust? Is it more of like we have business documents to settle that? Is that because that's always the question. A lot of men don't like marriage because they feel like they're gonna lose from it if something happens. And same thing with women, especially when they're really like, and they have a lot of businesses, they have a lot of things they don't want, which is why the prenup question comes up. That's why I'm asking for all my bosties out there. We're trying to make something happen.
So for me, I think it depends. I understand why people decide to get a prenup. And my husband and I go back and forth with this. And he swears that nobody's like me, but I don't believe that. So I love my husband. I love my kids. I love my family. I love them. But in the event we decide to part ways, I'm not going to change who I am. I'm not going to overnight become a entitled as woman who think I deserve 50% of the 401k that you had before we got married. Like we were in our he was in his 40s when we got married. Like that does not belong to me.
Gotcha.
Like I was raised. Now I know sometimes people, you break up, all the emotions are there, but like I know what's for me is for me. Whether it's money, whether it's clients, whether it's love, whether it's future, whether it's Academy Street, what's for me is what's for me. So I can't take what's yours and expect to get. So that's why for me, no prenup. But I understand why people decide.
I got you.
Yeah.
So I like that. That's a good way of saying it. So we're I have one more question. Okay. It's the famous dinner with Jay-Z or the $500,000. Which one would you take?
I'm taking the $500,000.
Okay. Why would you say that?
Because I know how to make money grow.
So you're like, look, I could have that conversation with Jay-Z, but I already have the answers that he could possibly give me.
I have the answers. I have the experience. I know the path. I don't know all the things, but give me $500,000, and by the end of this year, I will already be living on Academy Street. I would have probably purchased 2 more franchises that were cash flowing. So at the end of the year, I'm up $1.5 million versus the 500. And Jay-Z, I'm just eating like lobster and steak.
Go to the same restaurant. Okay.
Because you said have dinner with Jay-Z. Are we? It's just us. Like, are we? Like, is he talking to me? Like, can I?
You know, this question came out of nowhere. Yeah. I don't know who started.
So that's what I'm like. Yeah, like I can have dinner with Jay-Z, but I've had dinner with famous people, and there are other people at the table, so it's not as intimate. So you have to ask the right questions. So don't be fooled, and don't think just because someone give you A or B, you have to go with it. Like, tell me more. Like, okay, I'm eating with Jay-Z, and he's gonna give me $250.
Right.
Like make it make sense financially and like sense. So yeah.
I love it, Natasha. You've been a pleasure.
Thank you. This has been so much fun. I was so nervous at first, but I'm like, you know what? With her, it's gonna be.
Thank you.
Your energy is great, and it just calms me. So
thank you. That makes me feel really good. Yeah. Everybody always says they're nervous. I guess maybe it's the lights, but once you meet the team, once you meet me, like it's like, no, we're just having a conversation. And I really like this. I'm gonna stop playing this if for that game. We're gonna start being like, look, I'm gonna ask you a question, and you better dig deep, okay? I need another question from you. Okay? We're gonna raise the standards here.
Just dig a little deeper.
Yep. I love it. Okay, so once again, let everybody know who you are, where to find you, and how they can get to be a part of one of your classes, one of your husband's classes. Where's this Kale Me Crazy? Like, catch us up.
Again, I'm Natasha, financial wizard and CFO extraordinaire. I love what I do. You can find me on Instagram at theprofitstrategist.co. My website is the same thing, theprofitstrategist.co. You can hit /own a machine to sign up for my next webinar this Tuesday. And so I teach my clients how to own a machine, not own another job. Okay? If you want to learn how to buy a franchise, because it is doable for you, it's achievable for you, my husband's website is 9to5franchise.com, and our Kale Me Crazy is located at 1402 North Highland Avenue, Suite 7. We would love to have you. So that is that.
I'm going tomorrow, and I'm definitely going to be at your Tuesday class. I promise
cool.
you. That's
Yay.
definitely something I would like to learn.
Okay.
I've always said I actually don't want to work. That's always been my dream, is to not work. So you make me feel like this is possible.
It is
I have
possible.
somebody to talk to be like, look, I don't want to work.
It's possible. It's possible. It's possible.
I like that. All right. Well, thank you guys for watching.
Thank you guys.
Come on, besties, let's take the lead. Turning our visions into reality.